Attention entrepreneurs, we're here to talk to you. It's a very sad and sometimes lonely life being an entrepreneur. And I say sad because sometimes we feel like we are the ones that have to do everything. And we get, out of our ways because there's just so much on our plate. I think that we can all figure that part out. But the whole idea is knowing to connect with the right people, that we're not so alone, that we don't feel this journey is on our own, and that it's only up to us to make it through. Hi, my name is Glenda Kroll, and welcome to Let's Get Real. Today, we're here to be talking about entrepreneurship and what a world it is. Hello, Nicole, and welcome this morning today.
How are you? How are you? Yeah, it's Wednesday again. I'm telling you, we just log off and it feels like we're logging back on, which is great because I love it. So, I'm doing good. Very hot here in South Carolina. So if I slip from my chair, I'll do my best to get right back up and go at it. But no, I'm doing very, very well. And I'm super excited for our guest today. I read her bio and it's pretty intriguing. So I'm going to introduce her because I know she's got a lot of stuff to talk to us about today. And, this gal is not just an entrepreneur. She is a serial entrepreneur. She is a transformational coach. She is a Toastmasters keynote speaker. She has 20 years experience in corporate America, and she's a devoted mom of 4. So one of the things I want her to make sure to ask her is, what's harder, 20 years in corporate America or 4 kids? So let's bring her up so we can talk to her. And welcome to our stage, Ramona Rogers.
Hello, Nicole. Thank you so much. And hello, Glenda. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for the great introduction as well. It's going to be a great conversation. I can already tell. So thank you again for having me.
Well, Ramona, I have come across you so many times, and we've already had, bless you, we've already had our crosses, and I am always so impressed by the woman that you are. And it is important when we come across people that we connect with on all different levels, it's coming on so that we can come together and we can help other people through. And nothing better than to talk about entrepreneurship because, for the 3 of us, this is our world, right? So
absolutely,
it's about teaching people that they don't have to do this journey by themselves, because it is a very lonely journey.
I wholeheartedly agree. And yes, there is this influx of women, especially, that came into the entrepreneurial world from the pandemic as well, when the world shut down and everything and everyone was turned on its head, their head, and they had to figure it out. They had to decide, do I stay where I am? Or how long is this going to happen or take place? And when is it going to end? Because everyone, I think, was caught by surprise and assumed that it was just going to be a day or 2 or maybe a week. And then 2 weeks happened and then 3 weeks happened. And now they're like, oh my goodness, what do I do now? And that is when I believe many people, especially women, decided to go after their dreams, to build something of their own, so that they did not have to spend so much time building someone else's empire, which we have been conditioned. Society has conditioned us to do, right? It's that 40-40-40 plan, I call it, working 40 years for someone else, 40 hours a week, and then you retire and try to live off of 40% of what you were making.
It's so true. And I too, I worked in corporate Canada, and, I was lucky if I only worked a 40-hour week, because my weeks were more like 60-hour weeks.
There you go. I could relate to that.
Yeah. And it was, I enjoyed it, no doubt. And I learned a lot, which has helped me in my career now. But it's what we've do is we're conditioned to build other people, and then we turn around and we wonder, why can't we have it all? Like, why? Exactly. So let's talk about how we've been. So did you start in corporate America?
Yes, I actually started in entrepreneurship, or being exposed, I should say, to entrepreneurship before I entered into corporate America. I started quite young, as a matter of fact, but I was surrounded by successful entrepreneurs already, like my grandfather, watching him build it from the ground up and not only built it, but sustained it for over 50 years. And I
Wow.
spent a lot of time with my grandparents because my mother was out working in corporate America as well and was in a hospital, working in a hospital setting. And then she decided, because she watched her father build it, she decided, and once she had us, myself, my brother, and my sister, she decided that she wanted to be present, more present at home with her children. So she decided to go into entrepreneurship and built her own salon, so highly successful salon, for over 30 years. So I literally watched, I was under their wing watching them do it. So I was exposed to it beforehand. And then, of course, after I graduated high school, I also graduated. I went to a program that they had where you go to another vocational school. It was called Robert Morgan Vocational Tech in Florida. And I went there for my junior year and senior year. When I graduated high school, I also graduated with my certification of cosmetology. And that is what led me into a salon where my mom also worked, very, very temporary, but I was there, I was watching, I was intrigued, and I decided to go that route as well. Now, she did warn me. She said, you can do better, you can do more, just like we all do, right? We want more for our children.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. I said, that's exactly what I plan to do. Now, did I know exactly where I would end up, or exactly what that would look like, or exactly what I would end up doing? No, and that's exactly what entrepreneurship is. It is deciding to build something by textbook definition, build something, create an organization with a risk, knowing that there is a risk involved because we don't really know, right? We believe in what we're doing and we believe that it can happen. And each and every day, we're just taking that risk to do whatever it takes to make it happen. And
Well,
that
and
there lies the challenge, right?
so, the whole idea is on entrepreneurship is we don't always know our path. And it's very common for most entrepreneurs. I know, Nicole, right? You're
Right,
just
yeah. You zig, you zag, you go back, you turn around. Yeah, it's just like, it can be confusing.
Absolutely.
But the whole idea is, when what happens to us, and I know it happens to most of us, is because we zig and we zag and we don't know, and then we don't make the money that we think we're going to make or hope we're going to make, and that so we turn around and we struggle with that, and then we give up.
Yes.
And once we give up, which is so common, is then we just go into this wonder world of what are we going to do? Where should I be going? These questions start hitting us, and it kind of like hijacks us.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
when you lose that that oomph, that drive, it's it's like, I think that's one of the key components of it, of being a good entrepreneur, right?
I wholeheartedly agree. And one of the things that I always hone in on with my clients, as well as other people that I might mentor, is that there is going to always be challenges. Regardless of whether you choose to go back to corporate America, guess what? There's going to be some challenges, and there's going to be things that you don't like about it. And there's going to be sacrifices that must be made in order to even work in that 9 to 5 or back at the corporation level and things of that nature. But what I want to definitely always share with anybody that feels overwhelmed and feels like they're overworked and underpaid and that it'll never happen is never, ever give up. Because if you give up, you're going to be right back where you started, regardless. Okay, you give up on your dream, so you go and you start building someone else's. But guess what? When you walk back into that corporate level, 99% of the time you are starting right back at entry level, right back where you started. And now here you are still working with people that you don't like, working in a company that you don't align with, and things of that nature as well. So never ever give up. Ever give up. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on those that you were called to serve. And never, ever give up on yourself.
Wow. That's powerful. Don't give up on those you are called to serve. Because you don't know who is watching. You don't know who needs your help. You don't know who you're inspiring oftentimes because they just kind of watch silently.
Exactly.
But they watch. If they
Yes.
watch.
Oh, that's the key. They are watching. That's for sure. So give them a show.
I love it. It's true.
Yeah, and you're the
So,
star of it. You get to make all the decisions. You get to make what you want to show them, and there's no one there to tell you no, you can't show them that.
there you go. There you go. And that is exactly what I meant by give them a show, because some people might get a little discouraged because they aren't as successful as they really had hoped for. And because it's not happening at the timing that they assumed it would. But there is a scripture that's Habakkuk 2:3. And it is anytime that you are working towards something and for something, you always want to have goals, because goals is the GPS to our minds, right? It keeps us focused. Like every morning that you wake up, you need to know, where am I going? What direction am I headed? And as long as you have goals, so what you need to really do is fall back to scriptures. Do what scripture says. It's Habakkuk 2:3 says, write the vision and make it plain, so that he who sees it sees the vision. If you can see it in your mind,
You can believe it.
you can believe it.
So let's go back a stage. Okay. So I'm totally 150% with you. And it's about the vision. So first of all, let's talk about, having a goal in mind. And here's what I'm going to tell everybody who's watching right now or got on the repeat. Even if you don't know, because, I've had so many goals that I have met, but, at the beginning when I had these wonderful goals, I never knew how. Because the first thing I hear from so many clients is, well, I don't know how I'm going to get there. It's like, you don't need to know how.
Not at all.
But let's look about the vision. Let's talk about envisioning what our goal is, because to me, that's where the power lies.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. So the vision is what you see when you close your eyes, not what you see in your present situation. And what happens is a lot of entrepreneurs focus on their current circumstances. They focus on what they see around them happening right now. You're working, you're toiling, you're putting all of this energy and effort, you're posting 3 times a day, you're following up with all of your contacts, and you're going through this list of 100 people if you're working in an MLM, and that's what they told you to do, is make that list of 100 people, call them, but they don't know, and they aren't prepared for standing on that mountain of no's just to get the one yes. So what happens is, for every no that they get, they don't realize that it's a numbers game. Yeah. Those no's are building that resilience muscle that you are going to have, right? Because even if you got a mountain of yeses, that doesn't necessarily mean that you aren't going to have challenges.
Oh, life is about challenges, but it's learning, instead of having that challenge that stops you, if we can shift our mind and say to ourselves, okay, I know there's this challenge, like this hill looks really high. Absolutely. But you know what? I bet you I know a way to get through it instead of having to climb up it.
Exactly. I love that. And that is where the vision, to go right back to that vision topic that we were speaking about, that is exactly what your vision. How do I visualize? The entrepreneur needs to decide, how do I visualize myself already there, already with it? I surround myself with the vision. I put pictures up of exactly what it's going to look like when I arrive, when I reach my goals, when I have what I want. What is it going to feel like? Make sure that you wake up and go to sleep every night revisiting that vision, reading your goal aloud, right? Using auto suggestion, because faith comes by hearing, right? So the more you hear it, it's going to build your faith. And the more you see it, it also gives you the stamina, gives you the motivation, because motivation comes from our external, right? Our external surroundings and circumstances. And then what is it that I need to do to inspire, keep myself inspired every day, despite what I see, even if I don't yet see what it is. So, what is it that I do? You put that house up, your next home, your dream home, find a picture that represents what that's going to look like, and you put it up on a dream board or a life vision board or whatever you want to consider it or call it. And then if you want that brand new vehicle, you go out and you visit the car.
Yep.
And you get in that car and you feel the leather seats and you smell the smell of the new car, so that now when you get back into your old car, you are very uncomfortable now, and you have now been stretched. It's just like a rubber band. You have to stretch yourself, and once that you have stretched yourself, you will never go back to your original state. And that is exactly what we do with our mind. Your mind, you have to stretch your mind to see yourself with it and to see yourself there, so that you can continue to build that faith muscle as you continue to toil. Because though it may tarry, that's Habakkuk 3:2-3. Though it may tarry, it's going to take time. And the only thing between here where you are today and there where you're going is the T for time.
So let's talk about sometimes, until you get to the place where you want to be, till you get there, there's the thing of, it's really hard for some people to believe.
Yes.
Believe in yourself, believe in your abilities, because I know from what I went through in times when my life fell apart and when
Yes.
things happened to me, I lost the belief in myself.
Absolutely.
I had the doubt in myself. We all do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But the key, explain how we continue on to get that belief when we don't have that belief within ourselves, because that is when you're really being tested.
I love it. I absolutely love that question. So, yes, and I wholeheartedly agree. We have all been there. We have all lost faith and belief in ourselves. So, my answer to that is the exact same way that you lost belief is the exact same way that you're going to build it, because our words have power.
Yes.
And our
Say
thoughts
that again.
actions, right?
Yeah. That's true. That's exactly it. And I want people to listen to that again. Our words have power. So if you keep telling yourself you can't do it, you know what? You're right.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But your mind has to be on board with that too. Just as your words are power, your mind is very powerful. So you can negate something if you're not in sync.
There you go.
You do have to be very cautious with the mind as well.
Wholeheartedly agree. And that is exactly what I wanted to point out. It's when you look at words and how powerful they are, and when you are speaking what you can't do, or you are in an environment surrounded by people who don't believe in you, and they're constantly telling you that you can't do it, or they're doubting their belief in you is waning, and they doubt that you can do it as well, because they see you toiling, they see you working for it, they see you going after it, but they too don't see the results, right? And then you start listening, because whoever has your ear has your results. And sometimes we are the ones that have our own ear as well, because we're speaking death over ourselves. We're speaking, well, when is it ever going to happen? I don't think I can do this. It's too hard. And what you're doing is you're reinforcing what your paradigm is already trying to get you to believe as well. Your paradigm is trying to get you to stay stuck and to stay stagnant and to not believe in yourself as well. So it's already in the background, like a broken record, repeating itself over and over and over. And you are now reinforcing it, because it's going to believe whatever you tell it. And whoever has your ear has your results. And what I mean by that is, if you look at the word heart, HEART, and you take off the H and you take off the T, right there built inside of the word heart is the word ear.
Yeah.
So hearing, faith comes by hearing. What are you listening? Who are you listening to? And what are you listening to? So the way that you drive out doubt is you listen to podcasts that builds your faith and that inspires you. You listen to the greats. like the Les Browns and like the Tony Robbins and all of those podcasts and people who are out here telling you that it can happen and that you can do it and that you are worthy and that you are loved and that they too struggled with self-doubt. And guess how they overcame it? And you get those nuggets and you get their blueprints and you get those strategies and you put them to work. And every single day that you wake up and you look in that mirror, that is what you tell yourself. You tell yourself that today, I'm going to win this battle. Today, I'm going to drive out doubt by repeating to myself, putting in my ear, which goes directly into your subconscious, which now becomes your thoughts. So you drive out those old patterns of self-doubt and you replace them with new empowering thoughts. So you write out a belief statement, a brand new. The beauty of it is we can rewrite the script, right?
Yes,
so
anytime.
Yes, so you rewrite that script, whatever that old script is. I'm a divorcee, and I am a single mother. No, you are an entrepreneur that is going to win the game of entrepreneurship and be a successful single parent. So that is just a prime example of how you drive out the doubt and the fear.
Yeah,
And
I love that. I love that. And it didn't happen to you, it happened for you.
Absolutely.
And you have to just switch that little paradigm a little bit and you'll see it much more clear.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that you shared that, is that it wasn't happening to you. So that means that you're going to switch it from a victim mindset and victim role to a victor role, exactly. Right? It was happening for me. And if you really think about that, Nicole, I'm so glad that you pointed that out. That brought to mind another point that really resonates with a lot of people is when you look back, and Glenda just shared with us, her struggles, and I'm a single mother now as well. And I never knew that at 56, I would just turn 56 a couple of weeks ago. I never knew that at 56 I didn't plan for it, right? So what I had to do was rebuild. I had to restart. I had to reignite, not just once, many times over. And guess what? Every single entrepreneur out there listening and watching, don't be afraid to do so as well. Right. Restart, reignite. And that is definitely something that I always share as well. Not only is it happening for you, but think about everything else that you've already conquered and already survived and already grown through. So when you change the way that you look at things, the way that you look at things will change, right? I didn't go through all of that stuff. It didn't happen to me. I was growing through it, and there was valuable lessons in it that built that resilience muscle, that persistence muscle, that I had to grow through those things in order to prepare me for what was to come and for the next level and for whatever else I was going to be called to do.
Yeah. And we should always be growing. We should always be excited for the next little growth spurt that we're going to have.
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes it comes in morsels, and then sometimes it comes in leaps, quantum leaps. And we look back and we're like, wow, I could not have imagined that I would have gotten this far. I remember those days. You can go there, but you just can't stay.
And that's exactly what I was going to say as well. It's really important that we go back and revisit, because we need those reminders of what we've been able to accomplish, what we've been able to make it through, and celebrate every little one of those mountains that you climbed. It's really important, and remind yourself of your abilities in that, because through that you'll learn that the skills that maybe that you had to have, that you had to know to get out of that, to build, to help you carry you forward. That leaves a lot of blueprints of what's going to be.
Yes,
as we move forward.
Absolutely. There's something else that I fall back on is scripture. What is it that, what am I speaking over myself? What am I speaking over my life? What am I speaking over my business? So when entrepreneurs learn to speak over themselves the way that God would speak over you, what did he say? He says, for I know that I have the plans for you. It's to prosper you. It's to prosper you and give you hope for your future. So if God has made plans for me, then that is exactly what I need to do for myself as well. I need to have a plan. What is your plan? My plan A is to succeed, and my plan B is to see plan A. You don't stop.
I love that.
Change the plan. You never change the goal. You change what you're doing, but you never change the goal. The goal stays the same.
So many people that come back to you and say, but I don't know my purpose. What am I supposed to do?
I love that. Absolutely love that. There was a question that was posed in a group just yesterday. So funny that you said that. There was a person that posted the question. They said, well, I love what you guys are saying, but how do I know what I'm supposed to be doing? How do I know what my purpose is? And what I would say to that person, and that is exactly what I answered. I answered the person, as a matter of fact. And I said, well, what you need to decide is, what is it that you're good at? What is it that you love? What is it that when you do it, you love it so much that you will do it for free, that it doesn't even feel like work. It feels more like fun. It feels like I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be speaking to this group of people, and what comes natural. Because a lot of times, a lot of us, each and every one of us have a gift, right? And every single one of us are using it every day, but we don't even realize that it's a gift, because it comes so easy for us, but it comes very difficult for other people. They're like, well, why is that so easy for you? Well, you make it look so easy. And it's really because it's my gift. So it might be easy for me, and it may be challenging for someone else. That is probably where your purpose lies. Somewhere within that thing that you're doing that comes so effortlessly, that comes so easy. What is it that you're against? This is another question that I pose to them when they're trying to discover their purpose. What is it that you're against, and what is it that you stand for? And that will also lead you to your purpose as well. So I could be so against domestic violence. And I can be so against people who are taken advantage of. It could be other races or cultures or whatever the case may be. And I'm just throwing out a couple of examples. And what you have done because of that passion for what you stand against, you have now started just naturally and organically seeking those people and resonating with those people to the point where you're now attracting them to you. Every post that you make, you might be speaking to them, and they are now resonating with everything that you're posting, everything that you're speaking about, everything that you're saying. They're coming to you organically, and then you're getting messages now in your back channel. Hey, I really like that post. You reminded me of something that I'm dealing with right now, or something that I'm going through right now. And then you just organically and naturally just start a conversation that turns into a meetup on a phone call, that turns into maybe they're living in the same town, or you're traveling, and now, oh, I remember they live here, so let me meet up with them for lunch. And then before you know it, there's 5 or 6 other girlfriends that are jumping onto these trips with you. And before you know it, you've now curated and created almost a movement, or this group of people who all are coming together for the same purpose and reason and cause. And that has accidentally happened for a lot of people. They stumbled onto their purpose because they knew what they stood against or for. And they just started walking in it and stumbled on their purpose. You know what? I can do this every day. Oh, you know what? I really love this. It really feeds my soul. And then in turn, that's exactly what the other people on the other end of you walking in your purpose and knowing what you stand for and against, they are now getting their soul feds. And now it's grown into, you've heard it from pastors saying, I never knew. I would have never known or guessed that I would be a pastor.
Yep.
And they have stumbled into it because of something that they had to grow through that led them to do something where the light bulb just triggered, and they started doing more of it, started really loving it, and realized that they had more of a passion for it than they really knew. So what is it that you do that comes so easy for you, so effortless for you? that really feeds your soul. And whatever it is, just make sure that you keep your cup full so that when you are pouring into other people, you're never using your reserves and what's in your cup, but your cup is overflowing onto your saucer and you're serving people that you were called to serve from the saucer and not from what's in your cup.
I love that. And it's such an important thing, especially, as many of us women, have children
Oh,
and never mind just children, we have family members and we're
yes.
giving and we're looking after everybody because that's what our jobs, what we have been taught that it's all about in our lives. And before we realize that we are empty.
Yes.
And when that emptiness comes, we have to learn to stand back. And at that point, if even if you're on your journey, even if you have your passion of learning that at times it's okay to step back and say, no, this is my time that I need for me.
Absolutely. And no, by the way, is a complete sentence. No with a period is a complete sentence, and it doesn't require an explanation.
No.
So you must preserve your peace and you must invest in yourself. Self-care and self-love is a real thing that is very necessary for entrepreneurs because it is on you to get you. You are it. You wear so many different hats. You are the human resources, you are the social media marketer, you
Yes.
are the promoter of your new products, you are the brand, you are the face of the brand, you're the voice of the brand, right? So that can be exhausting.
Yes.
That can completely deplete you. And I was backstage right before, and I heard when Nicole was introducing, she said, well, she has children, and I would love to hear how this is, how she
Oh,
does it. Well,
yeah. I mean,
yes,
not one, not two,
there you go.
and that's a full-time job in itself, even when they're grown at times.
Yes, absolutely. And with that said, I do have 2 adult children and I have 4 grands as well. One
Yeah.
on the way. I have 3 here and then 1 on the way. So my 4th will be here in December. And it's from
Congratulations.
thank you so much. It's from my 2 older kids. So I have a 27-year-old, a 26-year-old, and a 19 and 15.
Wow. Love
So
it.
yes, so
Yeah.
2 sets, but they are all self-sufficient now. I have one is a sergeant in the military, which is my son, and then my daughter, the older daughter, works in a Fortune 500 company herself as a supervisor. And then I have my 19-year-old that graduated last year, and then my 15-year-old that just started high school. And yes, you must have those family meetings so that they understand what mom does, that mom works from home, that even though you see mom at home, mom is working. This is her job. So that therefore you must understand that there's times where she's going to be on calls. There's times that she's going to be in meetings on Zoom and things of that nature. So that they understand exactly what it looks like. No different from how I was under my grandfather's wing and my mother's wing as a young child. And I was watching them and I was always so curious as to what they were doing. I would always love when my grandmother gave me the invoices to organize by dates and to put in order and things like that, because I just felt so important working. I felt like I was being her, doing what she did and looking important like my grandmother. I wanted to be my grandmother and things of that nature because I just loved everything that she stood for. And the way that she worked in my grandfather's business, she was the secretary, she was the VA, right? We call them VAs today. She was the virtual assistant. There was no virtual back then. There was the yellow pages, and I know that I can tell we all can resonate with that, right? The yellow, the
That's
good old
funny.
yellow pages
Yeah.
where you ran an ad in the yellow pages
Let
regularly.
your fingers do the walking.
Yes, yes.
I forgot about that, but I do remember that.
Oh my
Absolutely.
goodness, yes, the
But
business.
just as you're saying, the other important factor that we need to realize, whether you are, you're running your own show and you're at home or with mom, and I know because I grew up in a working family as well, is you schedule a time for your kids as well, so that they still feel that they have the importance. And I don't care how old your kids are, because my kids are much older, but there's still time, and everybody needs to be heard and everybody needs to be seen.
Absolutely.
And part of success is part in your business is also having success in your home.
Yes.
You have
Oh my
success
God.
in your home. It's talking about filling your cup. Well, when your cup is filled with your happiness from where your kids stand or your significant other and all that, that also fills your cup in your business, because there's
Absolutely.
nothing that pulls from your business is when there's problems on the
Yes.
home front.
Yes. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I use this 25% rule. So entrepreneurs, come up with a strategy that works for you. The strategy that works for me is the 25% rule. So 25% of my time is spent under the family pillar. The other 25% of my time is spent under the fitness pillar. That could be self care, whatever that means for you, yoga, a walk, whatever it is, going out and taking care of yourself, getting your hair done and your nails done, whatever you love to do. It could be going to the beach if you're near a beach and walking on the beach, or walking on near the water to replenish yourself. Whatever it is for you, you have to find out what that is. And then it's your finances, because again, whatever is happening in your personal life is going to spill over into your business, and whatever's happening in your business is going to spill over. It will cross pollinate. So it's faith also. That's the last 25%. What is it that you believe in? And what is it that you're believing for? 25% of your time should be spent there. So family, and what I do with my kids is I spend time with them at church. We serve together at church. Shout out to my church family, Turning Point Church right here in McDonough, Georgia. And that is where my girls serve in Kids Point, they call it. So they serve and help kids. I serve on the welcome team and the care team. And then we go to a service together. And then we might go to breakfast before and or after service together, or we meet up at my parents' house, who lives 2 doors down, and we meet up there, and my mom might cook and the kids get in the kitchen and we all cook together and sit down and eat together. And that is our family time. So just recently for my birthday, we went out to dinner, we went out shoe shopping, and then we thought we would go out to a movie, but that brand new movie Bad Boys was sold out. So we had to reschedule that. And I said, well, maybe because it's the first weekend, we have to reschedule to a better day. So we had definitely planned to go after church on next Sunday. Right after we go to church together, we're going to go out to the movie. So yes, you must get that family time in and make sure that they want to feel, they feel that they not only want, like you mentioned, Glenda, and I wholeheartedly agree, of course, but they don't only want to know that they are a priority as well, that your business is not your only focus and your only priority, but they matter as well. And I have 4 kids, yes, but each one of them are individuals. Each one of them are very different as well.
Oh, absolutely. But I always felt, even I don't know how I even thought of this, but even when my kids were small, I always made time where I always allowed one-on-ones with my kids and did
Yes.
special things, because they really, everybody needs that, right? It was something,
Yes.
I grew up with a family of 4, and
Absolutely.
we never had that really one-on-one time.
Exactly.
That was always a very important thing. And I still live with that with my kids, even though that they're adults. I want one-on-one time so I can delve into them, especially.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I do is I send them each catered messages just for them on a weekly basis, sometimes daily basis. My son has 2 younger daughters, very, very young. So when he wants his mother's time, he knows exactly how to get it. He just shows up with those babies and that's it. We just stop the world stops, of course.
Sure.
And I just sit there and I just spend quality time with them, loving on them. I throw something on the stove, in the oven or on the stove, and they eat before they leave, and they leave with snacks and something that I've baked or something of that nature, so they know exactly. Each one of them have their own special time. And what I actually started doing in 2020, as a matter of fact, and the funny thing about it is we would go every spring and every fall, our favorite place for everybody to go, me and the 4 kids will pack up and we would drive to Panama City Beach, which is, we have videos, we have pictures. And then COVID came, of course. But in February, I was working for a company at the time, and they had an event. The very first European event was happening in the UK. And I told my older daughter at the time, and I said, I am going to start, and each one of them have this this place that they want to visit. One is New York, another is Houston, another was the UK. And I told her, I said, I have 2 events coming, one in Houston, one in the UK. I said, so take your pick. You already have your passport because she was in the Spanish club at school. So she already had her passport when they went to Spain with the Spanish club. I said, well, you already have your passport. I have mine now, and I'm going to the UK. And then when I get back a few weeks later, there will be another event in Houston. I said, so take your pick. It'll be your gift for your birthday or early gift. And we did. We went to the UK to this event together for the first time, both of us. That was my one-on-one time with her. My young one stayed with my parents, and then that's exactly what we did. And then my other trips were postponed because of COVID. We couldn't fly and travel anymore. So I just had that conversation with my younger girls and said, I definitely remembered that you wanted to go and visit New York, and then you preferred to go and visit Texas. So those trips are now in the process of being scheduled for this summer. By the end of this summer, those trips will happen individually with each one of them.
Nice.
And like I say, that is, for me, having time with one-on-one with my kids actually fills up my cup. So yes. I feel good. I feel that it brings me up on so many different levels, and especially as they're growing older, they are growing so much wiser themselves that you learn from your own kids. And I've always learned, even when they were kids, because out of the mouths of babes,
yes,
things that would come out, great learnings. But being the important factor I just want to come across here too is when you are an entrepreneur, I think one of the most important facts in this industry is to be open-minded and to be keeping your ears and eyes open, because you'll never know who you'll meet or what you'll see that can actually give you some direction in your own life.
Absolutely. That is so true. And it's not so much as to who you know, but it's also who they know. And those entrepreneurs who will learn the power of collaboration, which is the new domination, by the way. Long gone are the days of competition, right? Where you're out here competing against others. You are competing against yourself. You compete, you make sure that each and every day that you set a goal for yourself to be your own personal best. Because comparison is a thief of joy, by the way. When you're competing, what you're essentially saying is someone has to lose in order for me to win. And nobody has to lose anything at all. In order for, there's 8 billion people in the world. There's enough people out here looking to be served that there's enough for every single one of us. It's the reason why McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's don't mind. They made it their blueprint now to all be on the same block and to make it convenient for families of 4 and 5 and 6 who all have a different taste. And everybody, I've done it. We came from a basketball game, or we came from the field or the volleyball court, and we have 4 kids in the car, and every single one of them wants something different. And one doesn't like McDonald's, and one doesn't like Wendy's, and everybody wants what they want. But now I love that it was so convenient to just hop right across the street to the next fast food restaurant, right? And the same thing applies. The market may be saturated, but the market doesn't have a you.
I love that. Yes, yes. It's, it's everybody is different on what they offer. Everybody has their own outlook, their own ways of dealing with things. So It's who you connect with, finding the person. And that's the other part of let's talk about believing in yourself. Sometimes when you can't believe in yourself, finding that person that can believe in you before you can get to believe in yourself really helps you on that journey.
Absolutely. And never, ever. That was so powerful because it's so true. Borrow someone else's belief.
Yes.
So making sure that you put yourself in the right rooms, in the right environment, surrounded by people who believe at a much higher level as well. And believe it or not, you will be number 6. Who are the top 5 people that you spend the most time with? Because whoever those top 5 people are, whatever they're speaking, whatever they're believing, whatever they're doing, you are more likely to be number 6. So if you're spending time in an environment with people who don't really believe in themselves, who don't really believe that it's necessary to get up every morning and to have faith in yourself and your business and believe in what it is that you stand for and to stand against, you're more than likely going to be number 6. So putting yourself in the right environments is vital.
And I love that. And I think that's something that we all should be looking at, because when you're saying that you don't have enough belief in yourself, or you find that you're in a group of people and somebody is knocking you down,
Yes.
really what they're doing is, and you have to be really apparent to this, that they're really, what they're doing is they're knocking themselves down. They don't have the faith within themselves.
Exactly.
And you're the one who's being hit by it. And so when people are talking to you in their own disbelief, and
Right.
and it looks like it's coming at you, I want you to just sort of step back and let that arrow come right back and hit them, because you know what, you've got that journey, you've got it. It's just that
Exactly.
you don't have to believe other people for what their beliefs are.
There you go. There you go. And that's exactly what Romans 10:17, I believe it is, that says faith comes by hearing. So what are you hearing? Put yourself in the room where you're hearing positivity to drive out the negative. Put yourself in the room where you're hearing faith. What faith looks like, what faith sounds like, what does it sound like to believe in myself? It's waking up every day, and when those little voices show up and tell you that you can't do it, maybe, just maybe they are right. Just no, maybe they're wrong. Well, what if it doesn't? What if it is too hard? And what if it doesn't happen? Well, what if it does?
Well, and let's give it another little switch to it. And what if you could do it, but you might just need a little bit of help?
Yes. There you go. There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is exactly where you come into hand. And Nicole's, that's what the Glendas and the Nicoles are all about. That's what Ramona does.
It's about realizing, and here's the thing, and I know it took me years to figure this one out, because I was always a very lone soldier. Right. Here's the thing is, we don't need to. We need to step up and ask.
Yes.
And you know what? It is one thing.
Absolutely.
That took me years to learn.
Absolutely. And that brings me to Matthew 7:7. Ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. And that is exactly what they cannot be. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're thinking of becoming an entrepreneur, never, ever be afraid to ask and seek wise counsel. Go and find those people that are doing it at a high level, and you ask them the right questions. Ask them, how did they do it? Let them know what you're struggling with and what your struggle is. And you get on those calls, those free 30-minute calls, and you talk about exactly where you are in your business. If you've hit a glass ceiling, you talk about where you are in that. Don't ever be ashamed of where you are, because guess what? They were all there at one point in time as well.
True. And if someone offers it, take them up on that offer. And even if you don't have the right questions, they're going to talk. And if you listen, you're going to glean something from who they are and what they've done. So I couldn't agree with you more on that one.
Oh, thank you. And that's it. That's what it's all about, being a lifelong learner. I keep my eyes and my ears peeled to the little, no matter how small or big the nuggets are, is I am looking to learn. That's the seeking part, right? Seek and you shall find. I'm seeking to learn. What is it that I can do differently that will curb the time that I will have to spend doing this task in order to get the result that I deserve. You deserve to win. You deserve to be successful.
I love that.
Every single one of you.
Yeah, and that's that's such an important statement that you just did, because most people don't have that in their own genetics of saying, I deserve it. And I'm saying that with the most humblest way of looking at life.
Absolutely.
We don't owe anybody. We all deserve to live a happy, healthy life.
Exactly.
But we have to accept that for ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the more that you come to terms with that, realizing that I deserve, this was a little seed that was planted. That idea, every single idea, Glenda, your idea, Nicole, every single idea has the potential to be $1 million idea that will change the lives of a lot of people. So whatever your solution is that you have created, that idea that has been planted in your heart that you keep wishing that you can do, or that you always have dreamed of doing, there are people on the other end of that idea that it's going to help. You have a solution. So the longer you keep it within yourself and not bring it to fruition, there are people who are not being served. That is the real, that's the bigger picture. The bigger picture is when you are keeping your gift, you're hiding your gift from the world, and you're procrastinating. In fact, procrastination is one of those magical words as well. A lot of people don't really quite understand it, but what my definition of procrastination is the arrogant assumption that you have more time to do that thing that God is calling you to do today. You're obviously called to do it because you're procrastinating, right? So you're not doing it because it's already been planted. The thought, the idea, the task, whatever it is, was already given to you. And you're not doing it because you have this assumption in your mind, oh, I'll put it off tomorrow. So until tomorrow or next week, or maybe by, 2025 is going to be my year. You have 6 whole months that you're wasting not doing the thing that you were called to do. So that means every single day, there's people coming on to Instagram, coming on to Facebook, coming on to Twitter, coming on LinkedIn, and they're going straight to the search bar. They don't know we all exist yet. They're going to the search bar and they're putting in the search field whatever their problem is. So when those people are putting in the search field whatever their problem is, are you coming up as a solution? Is the question.
I love it. And it's so important that you realize that that's exactly one of the most important tools that you need to learn is putting yourself out there. And that's just getting out of your comfort zone. So that reminds me that there's 2 F words in life that kind of are on a balance. They're on a teeter-totter.
Okay.
We've got fear and we got faith. They both
love it.
What do we do?
Oh,
let's talk about them both.
Those are my 2 absolute favorite good F words, by the way. And faith and fear. Faith and fear. Fear.
They're both silent.
Yes, they're both silent. And they both require us to believe in something that we can't see.
Exactly.
You can't see fear, right? It's just something that you have put in your mind and that you are assuming it is there, whatever that thing is for you. You might fear the word no, or standing on a mountain for no's. You might fear snakes. You might fear airplane crashes, because fear of flying, fear of heights, whatever it is, you are still believing in something that you can't see. So the beauty of it is faith is the exact same thing. It's the evidence of things that we can't see as well, right? But we're still required to believe it in order for fear or faith to exist. So why not flip the coin from the fear side to the faith side? Because both of them require us to do the exact same thing and believe in something that we can't see. So if I have a choice of fear or faith, I'm going to throw away the fear and I'm going to now start believing that, and rather believing in something that I'm afraid of, I'm going to believe in something that can change my life, as well as break generational curses, as well as change the lives of others.
And in the meantime, if you reach out, if you've got that high amount of fear and you reach out and you start to ask for some forms of help or finding people that have done it, then you can turn that fear into faith, because now you start obtaining the information that you know that you need to move forward with.
Absolutely. It's kind of like living in the past as well.
Yeah.
I kind of equate it to living in the past. I mean, regardless of what you decide to do, whether you want to think about everything that you've been through in your past and live there, or whether you choose to think about the possibilities of your future, that is exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get more of whatever. It's just compounded, right? That's why the fear could start with a thought, Oh, I have a fear of spiders. And what do you think a spider is going to do? Whatever that fear is, and the more you think about it, it becomes larger and larger and larger. Well, the same exact thing happens with faith. Building your faith. You start by creating the business, right? The business idea. It starts with that little thought, that idea. The same exact way that fear starts is with that little thought of fear. And the more you keep impounding it in your thought process, your psyche, it becomes a part of who you are. So I would rather, it's just a decision, honestly. It's just simply a decision that you make every day. Today, I'm going to make a decision to not be afraid of doing the work, to not be afraid of building, thinking that I'm worthy, to not be afraid of believing that I can do this. I can build this business. One morsel at a time. Because if you think about it, you can just set a goal to improve 1% every day, just 1%. And at the end of the year, you have improved 365%. Not 100%, right? Typically the goal is 100%, right? 100 is the magic number. But no, we have 365 days a year. So if each day you just make a decision to believe in yourself, flip the fear coin over to the faith side, and choose to believe in yourself, and choose to believe that you can, and you will. Because whatever you believe is exactly what you're going to get.
Brilliant. Well, and this comes to, also one of the most famous books that was written, and we talk about decision and fear and faith, is the, Napoleon Hill's Think
Yes.
book, right? So,
Think and Grow Rich, yes.
And it's really true. You've got to make these decisions that help you change your life. And you have to, just like you said, it's so powerful of what you said. If you do just 1% in a day, and everybody's thinking that they got to do 100 and they got to make everything work. But, if we just do, I'm a believer of little things add up.
Yes.
Little things make a coach.
Absolutely.
So, and great analogies.
And don't despise those small beginnings. I mean, that 1% could just look like maybe you were accustomed to sleeping in every day, and now today you got up 2 hours early and you got up and you wrote your goals down, or you wrote your gratitude, because gratitude is that great magnifier, right? So you want to definitely be grateful for little so that you can now receive a lot more. And when you get that more, or whatever more is for you, or when you get a lot more, you can be grateful for that as well. So I would definitely say that it could be as small as those small wins compounded add up to the big win. So don't despise those small wins. Waking up a little bit earlier and doing some personal development is a win. And you should really celebrate every single one of those wins. Okay, I didn't do my follow-up for the last month. I went into this event, or did an event, and I had all of these people that came into my back channel answering questions who were leads, and I did not follow up. So today I'm going to follow up. I'm going to devote 2 hours to following up, and I'm going to block this time out. I'm going to get my time management under control, and I'm going to block out 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. every single morning this week. Will you hit that goal on maybe Monday and Tuesday? Wednesday, you got sidetracked or distracted. Okay, don't beat yourself up for Wednesday. Celebrate Monday and Tuesday. And then you get right back on schedule for Thursday and Friday. So you have now 4 out of 5. That's a lot to celebrate. That's 4% already. Right?
Well, yeah, it's 100. It's in my books, it's 100%.
Absolutely. There you go. So, but that's what 1% looks like. It could be something as small as doing what it is that you said that you're going to do. Well, so you're not building trust with others. You're building trust in yourself.
I want to say, first of all, I hate to be cutting you off, but we're getting close to the end of our hour, and time just always goes by too fast when we're having fun.
Absolutely.
And first of all, what am I grateful for? I am so grateful for that you came today and joined us, and hopefully gave that empowerment to so many people that are sitting back and doubting themselves and what if-ing themselves and should have, so all the rest of this.
Yes.
What I call, the biggest things that kill the the dream the most.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank you very much for joining us and giving us such a powerful segment today, because we all need it, no matter
pleasure.
where you're at.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And thank you for showing up and creating Let's Get Real with Nicole. And I absolutely enjoyed both of you and all of the great questions you asked, things of that nature. And you're absolutely right. And that's what it's all about. It's just continuing to show up and be that person that you needed when you first started as well.
Thank you. And Nicole, we never end a session without you coming and giving us your lowdown of what your thoughts are.
You know, there's so much in this 1 hour segment that it's almost impossible to choose one thing. But one of the things that Ramona said that kind of, you know, sparked something in my brain is when you think you're not as successful as you should be. And what interested me about that is what you think may not be what those people think that are watching you, because they would give anything to be who you are, where you are, and do what you're doing. And I've had that experience. And so even when you think you're not successful or you're not doing it right, there's someone looking at you saying, wow, look at that person. They're absolutely incredible. And that's what we're all about, is just picking up, looking around, knowing we have power, knowing we are incredible, putting it to good use, and understanding that you're absolutely right, Ramona. We all have something that someone can use.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's definitely what I wanted to add is we're all standing in our own acres of diamonds. There's people out there walking around 9 months pregnant with their dream. And all you have to do is push, just push, give birth to it.
I love that.
Beautiful.
Well, you heard it here first, and it's time that you push and get that dream out there, because you know what? You deserve it.
Absolutely.
So, thank you today again for joining us. I hope who's ever watching it has gotten something out of it. Please comment below and just tell us, you know, share with us, what's your dream? What do you want to make happen in your life? You know what? When you write it down, that's the start of things actually happening. Thank you all again for joining us on Let's Get Real.
Bye-bye, guys.